daughter of mine that we seems to be a family sister, Ajala Opeyemi Sarah by name, who is a student of Ekiti State University affiliated to Imanala in the College of Education. We both schooled together there, and I was asked to help her in paying our school fee.
This is a story that happened around 2016 in Oyo State. I know some people will say it is an old news, it is this, it is that, or blah blah blah. But does that really matter? What actually matters is the lesson learned from it. Whether old or new, it doesn't matter. It is about the lesson learned from this story. Until today, this remains one of the most shocking cases ever reported. A story that will make you ask one simple question. How can a human being be so heartless that another person's life no longer matters? This is the tragic story of Sarah Opeyemi Ajala, a young university student whose life was cut short over 47,000 naira school fees. As at the time of this incident, the suspect name was not immediately revealed during police interrogation. What shocked investigators was not just the crime itself, but the relationship between the suspect and the victim. Sarah Opeyemi Ajala and her cousin brother were both students of Ekiti State University. According to reports, things were going on fine. Sarah's parents had been taking full responsibility for everything and the welfare of even the suspect, that is the cousin. They paid school fees, fed both students, and treated them like one family. In fact, during holidays, the suspect often stayed in Sarah's parents' house. He lived with them, ate with them, and was cared for by them. Once in a while, he would visit his own parents, but most of the time, or most of his time, was spent in Sarah's father's house. That is to simply tell you that they were very close, and they sees this suspect, the cousin, as one family. That made him feel comfortable around them. That was why he spent most of his time at Sarah's father's house. No one imagined that such relationship would end in blood. When it was time to pay school fees, Sarah's father sent the money for both Sarah and her cousins directly to the cousin's bank account. He was instructed to pay the school fees on behalf of both of them. At that time, Sarah was not in school because it was already weekend. Guess things. She went with her friends, to have fun, trusting that her cousin would handle the payment. According to police report, when the money entered the suspect bank account, temptation set in. He saw the amount, 47,000 naira, meant for Sarah's school fees, and he decided to spend the money. So before he realized what he was doing, he had already spent all the money, lavished everything. I don't know for what reason, but one thing was clear. The money was gone. At this point, the young man became very, very confused. He didn't know how to explain himself, and he didn't know how to replace the money. Instead of coming clean and instead of asking for help, he chose a very, very, very deadly path. According to investigators, he believed that if Sarah was no longer alive, no one would question him about the money, and that would be the end of the whole case. He chose that path because he thought it was a decision that would change the whole thing or his life forever. By the time Sarah returned from where she went to have fun with her friends, she called her cousin. She asked him a simple question: "Have you paid my school fees?" And the cousin replied yes. As expected, Sarah asked for the receipt because she needed it for clearance and other school processes. The suspect then told her that the receipt was with him, that he would bring it to her lodge. Sarah felt relaxed and was waiting for her cousin to come with the receipt. This moment, according to the police, was the opportunity this said cousin has been waiting for. When he arrived at Sarah's lodge, he met her relaxing. She had just finished her lunch. He told Sarah he was hungry. Sarah, who suspected nothing, freely told him to go to the kitchen and get some food, or better still, eat there, right in the kitchen. This guy went into the kitchen and spent several minutes thinking, contemplating, strategizing what to do at that particular point in time. He was doing all of this because of just 47,000 naira. He then came out of the kitchen and went directly to where Sarah was lying, relaxing and having a good rest. Suddenly, he held her tightly with all his strength. Sarah could not even shout, but she tried to struggle but as she struggled and almost overpowered him, he quickly stabbed her on the neck. Blood started rushing out, and this young man released Sarah and ran away immediately. Due to excessive blood loss, Sarah died right there in her room. No one knew what was happening inside the room at that moment. Later on, a neighbor came to Sarah's room to borrow a biro. What she saw shocked her completely. She almost fainted. Sarah was lying in her own pool of blood. She screamed heavily and called other neighbors. They rushed Sarah to the hospital, but on arrival, the doctor confirmed that Sarah was already dead. The police were immediately contacted. They arrived and began investigations immediately. Everyone in the lodge were arrested, questioned during interrogation. After intense interrogation, a neighbor mentioned that a young man came around to visit Sarah that day. She identified him as Sarah's cousin. Police went straight to his hostel. They were told that he had traveled. Unknown to many, after committing the crime, the suspect had fled. He traveled straight to Ibadan, Oyo State, where he thought would be safe for him to hide. But he did not escape justice because the police tracked him down there and arrested him. During interrogation, the cousin confessed to everything. He told the police that he was given 47,000 naira to pay for Sarah's school fees. So since he had spent the money and could not replace it, he went into her room while she was resting, strangled her and stabbed her until she started bleeding. He then fled the scene. He admitted that his motive was simple and very terrifying. He killed his own cousin just to avoid being questioned of 47,000 naira. Just 47,000 naira. Cases like this raise very serious questions. How does fear of accountability turn into murder? How does financial pressure combined with poor judgment lead to such irreversible decision? How? Experts often say crime like this do not happen suddenly. They are usually the result of panic, poor values, and the inability to face consequences. Sadly, Sarah trusted someone she saw as family, but that trust cost her her life. This case is a reminder that money problems should never be solved with violence. And remember, no amount of money is worth a human life. If you are facing financial trouble, speak up, ask for help. Because once a life is taken, there is no going back. You must face the law. May Sarah Opeyemi Ajala so rest in peace. I'm going to see you guys on our next story. Stay safe out there.
She's a sister of mine that we seems to be a family sister. Ajala Opeyemi Sarah by name, who is a student of Ekiti State University affiliated to Imaniala and the College of Education. We both schooled together there, and I was asked to help her in paying our school fee. But due to the fact that I've spent the money and I couldn't refund back the money,
How much was the money?
the amount of the money was 47,000 naira. So because of this, I went to her house. I strangled her neck and I stabbed her with knife in her room. And while blood gushed out, I ran out until when the police officer came around to take me from my room at Oyo.
What was your intention?
My intention was to kill her so that no one will ask after the money from me.
How exactly did you use the knife on her?
I used the knife on her, on the neck.